I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, I'm about to whip somebody's ass. Oh, if you don't leave me alone, you're gonna have to send me home, 'cause I'm about to whip somebody's ass.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator.
Classified my ass!
Government is another way to say better than you.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver Common Sense Show.
Want the Sackheads to give you a blessing?
8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. I see the circus. The committee for Benghazi's questioning Hillary, and she's tap dancing away around everything. And you got the Democrats apologizing for bringing her in. They're talking about the $4.7 million spent and how wasteful, but yet they go around wasting God knows how many billions of dollars of money every year, but 4.7 to find out why 4 dead Americans. It just drives me up a wall. It just, I don't know. So, while that's going on, I'm going to try to do a show without getting sick. I should shut it off the other computer. It just drives me up a wall. I mean, I'm just going to get off the subject because it's just going to aggravate me to no end because these idiots think it's a game. Hillary killed people. There was a stand-down order, plain and simple. There was assets. There was military in the area. There's God knows how many things that could have been done. Except they sat on their hands and did nothing. So on a funny note, there was an Atlantic City man who I guess got a little upset with a homeless woman. And acquaintance, his friend, decided he was going to videotape this gentleman getting loud, rowdy. And, well, Facebook isn't always your friend. And Atlantic City man has learned that. IBN is his first name. Yes, IBN. I'm spelling it. I is in Indigo, B is in Bravo, N is in Nancy. Thought you had to have some vowels in the name. Hunter, he's 25 years old, was arrested Monday morning after a video posted on Facebook showed a woman being knocked unconscious in the city's Browns Park. The 45-year-old homeless woman is hospitalized with a serious head wound. She has since signed herself out, and now they cannot find her. Hunter is in jail on $100,000, which has been increased because Hunter decided he was going to attack one of the guards that was searching him. Well, besides, I think he's being held with no bail or something like that. And he's got a nice little goose egg on his forehead where his feet got taken out underneath him, and he went right on his forehead. Smart man. They're looking for the guy that videotaped it because they believe the two are friends. And it's not funny what he did to the woman, but it's funny that they were stupid enough to post the image to Facebook, brag about the incident, and now he's in jail. If you're going to do stupid shit, don't film it. So many people are getting in trouble because they're filming their shenanigans and then posting it onto social media where the police can find it, and then you get charged. If you're doing shenanigans, keep it to yourself. Plain and simple. Keep it to yourself. I mean, I wouldn't even talk about shenanigans unless it's with close friends, because it can always be hearsay. But, alright. I just thought some people would get a kick out of that. And did anybody hear that Baltimore is now saying that we have to give them money to rebuild the city? Yes, they want Americans, just as in Ferguson, they want Americans to pay for them tearing down their own damn city. Well, yeah, that is the biggest joke in a long time that I've heard. But Baltimore is a Democrat problem, not America's problem. And why do you say Democrat? For those that don't know, these cities, large cities that are failing, that have all these issues.
Be your own chief cloud officer.
You shut up. Have been run by Democrats for decades. They blame everything on Republicans. But for 40, 50 years, they have been run by Democrats. Detroit hasn't had a Republican majority running it in like 40 or 50 years. Same with Baltimore. The last time Baltimore had a Republican mayor, the last time was 1967. But yet it is the Republicans' fault for the failures the Democrats have pushed onto these cities. And people are still stupid enough. They keep voting for them. They see the failure of the cities. The Democrats go, it's a Republican problem. Oh, it's Republicans. God, shut up. Shut up. I don't want to listen to that. No. So, contrary to the emotional blackmail some leftists are attempting to peddle, Baltimore is not an American problem or shame. I'm not ashamed. I do not have anything to do with Baltimore. I have not pushed any agendas. I don't even know. I may have driven through Baltimore. No, I was in Baltimore when I was a child. My parents went on vacation. We went through there and we were hitting some of the sites. Since then, I have not gone into that shit city. It is not my problem. It is not my fault. It is run by Democrats. Don't push the blame, and they do it all the time. Oh, we're in trouble here. We've done another failure. We got another failure going on. Let's blame the Republicans. Let's blame white people. That in itself is racist. I'm offended by it. I am offended that they want to blame me for every goddamn little problem. I don't do shit. Nope, I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with any of this stuff in Baltimore. I had nothing to do with anything in Ferguson. But yet they want to try to blame me and guilt me. And I'm talking as a white person. Yeah, pound sand. I had nothing to do with that. Go look at your government. Your Democrats that have been running your cities. Look at that. But yet you want to keep voting the same people in. And those cities keep going down and down and down and down and down. And you are dumb enough and stupid enough to keep voting for him. You keep voting for Elijah Cummings. What has he done for your city? Nothing. I'll tell you what he's done. He's fattened his pockets. Pelosi. The only reason why she's still in office and they still want her running is because, well, she has not had anybody to oppose her in God knows how long. So therefore, she doesn't need her money that she gets for fundraising. So she pumps it into the other parts of the Democrat Party. And the Republicans, they have their issues. I know that. I will not deny that. I never will. Republicans got a lot of issues, but the Democrats have a hell of a lot more. Especially when they start openly putting socialists. Well, he's a Democrat socialist. Screw you. He's a socialist. And it sounds like he's a pervert, too. Feel the burn. Come on, feel the burn. Feel the Bernie. He's a freaking pedophile. Pervert. He wants you to feel him. If anybody else came up with that, if a Republican, look at that, he is such a sexist. He wants everybody to touch him. Well, I'm offended by Bernie, period. Can we have him banned? It offends me. So he should be shut down immediately. He offends my father. He offends my mother. I know a lot of people he offends. So therefore, Bernie Sanders needs to be taken out of the race. He should be shutting up. He should be crawling into a hole. That failed city is solely and completely a Democrat problem. Like many failed cities, Detroit comes to mind. And every city besieged recently by rioting, Democrats and their union pals have had carte blanche to inflict their ideas and policies on Baltimore since 1967. In 2012, after 4 years of his own failed policy, President Obama won a whopping 87.4% of Baltimore city votes. Democrats run the city of Baltimore, the unions, and the school, and yes, the police force. Since 1967, there have only been 2 Republican governors in the state of Maryland. Representative Cummings has represented Baltimore in the United States Congress for more than 30 years. As I write this, despite his objectively disastrous reign, the Democrat-infested mainstream media is treating the Democrats like a local folk here, and not the obvious and glaring failure he really is. And if the roles were reversed, and these were Republicans at all these failures, you would have Democrats' heads blowing up as they ran to condemn them, as they ran and tried to get people to vote Democrat. They would be screaming, we need new policies, we need this, we need that. Their heads would be popping left, right, and center. But yet the Democrats are allowed to inflict this infestation of failures across this country. And then they have the gall and the balls to outright lie and blame it on everybody else. Liberalism and all the toxic government dependency and cronyism and union corruption and failed schools that comes along with it has run amok in Baltimore for half a century. And that is a Baltimore problem. Every single member of Baltimore City Council is a Democrat. It is the free people of Baltimore who elected and then re-elected those who institute policies that have so failed that once great city. It is the free people of Baltimore who elected these officials. And this isn't because there's low education, people don't know better. They are just purposely ignoring the problems. They get told that it's Republicans that are the ones that are causing these problems. Is the Republicans that are racist, that promote the racists? Well, I see all these cities having these issues. Bleep. And it's all Democrat-run cities. People, wake up. Stop buying the bullshit that they are feeding you. Stop. I'm not saying to vote 100% Republican. That's all we have to have all Republicans. No. But we need to start looking at some issues here, and it's not the Republicans' fault. We have a party that is destroying this country from the inside out. Failed policy on top of failed policy. There is, and I got in the discussion this morning, and look at it, the Republicans, they are fighting, and they need to shut up. Well, the Democrats have that same issue going on. So maybe they need to shut up too. You call the arson and looting and violence we are seeing on our television screens rioting? That's one way to describe that chaos. Another way to describe it is democratic infighting. This is blue-on-blue violence. The thugs using the suspicious death of Freddie Gray at the hands of a Democrat-led police department to justify the looting that updates their home entertainment centers. Are Democrats protesting Democrat leaders and Democrat policies in a Democrat-run city? Poverty has nothing to do with it. This madness and chaos and anarchy is a Democrat-driven culture that starts at the top with a racially devised White House, heartbreakingly effective at ginning up hate and violence. Watauga County, North Carolina, the poverty level is 31.3%. Median income is only $34,293. In both of those areas, we are much worse off than Baltimore. That has a poverty rate of only 23.8% and a median income of $41,385. People, this is not so much a Republican versus Democrat. This is our country on the line. This is our country on the line. This is the citizens versus the politicians. This is the people versus the politicians. This is our country, and they are destroying it. The politicians. This is both parties doing the wrong. They're not out there. And don't be gullible and listen to the Democrats. The Republican are only out for the rich. So the Republicans are out for the Democrats? Because they're always saying how the Republicans are the party of the rich. They have the richest. Top 10 in government right now. In Washington, D.C. The top 2, yes, are Republican. 3 through 8, or 3 through 10, are all Democrats. Does that tell you anything? So they've been feeding you this bullshit that it's the Republicans. When they bring up these laws, knowing that the Republicans won't allow it to go through, they don't want it through themselves. So they let the Republicans be stupid enough, step up and fight it, and then they point their finger and say, see, they don't want that stuff done. This is us, the people. And the sooner we stop allowing them to push us around and cause all this infighting amongst the people. And if you look at it, they have us split. They have us divided as a people. The sooner we come together, the sooner they shit their pants. Excuse me for putting it like that, but you know what? The sooner they do. Because as soon as we band together, they know they're in trouble. Because it will be how many millions of people versus how many politicians in Washington, D.C.? We need to put some of our differences aside. And I'm not talking, let's overrun the government. No. Let's do, because the state of the government is our fault. We are at fault. It is our fault that our government has gotten this out of control. It is our fault. Nobody else's. Nobody else can control the government but us. And we have allowed them to run amok, to run around doing whatever they want. And we sit here and we ignore it. Or we say, there's nothing we can do about it. Yes, there is. We could start voting these idiots out. Stop voting by the letter. If that politician isn't doing his job, if that politician turned into a career politician, vote him out. Vote that person out. Once we start doing that, we start getting rid of these politicians left, right, and center and getting new ones in there. And then if that person doesn't do a good enough job, we vote that one out. It's going to take a couple cycles, but sooner or later, they're going to realize, holy shnikes, they have learned the game. And we now have to step up. They're going to have to step up. All right, it's getting that time for a little break. Remember, every Monday through Friday, noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find the Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by me, Jersey Joe. And Wednesdays, you can find the Reaver After Dark Show, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hosted by me, Jersey Joe. Right here on shrmedia.com and also on punditpress.com. And I was notified yesterday that for the month of October, there was over 750,000 listeners on punditpress.com. Hopefully my show put in some nice numbers there. All right. All right. I'm going to take a break and be right back after these commercial breaks.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
Listening to the SHR Media Network. In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
you got a business that you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press Radio, and YouTube through the SHR Media page for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
And welcome back to the Reaver Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. All right. So, we're going to get back to this little Benghazi, oh my God. Baltimore. Because they're trying to blame and say that the American people need to pay for what went on in there. Talking about in a county in North Carolina, the level is 31.3 is the poverty level with a median income of $34,293 compared to Baltimore of a poverty rate of 23.8% and a median income of $41,839. Despite all that, they don't riot there. They have not been poisoned by the same left-wing culture that is rotting Baltimore and so many other cities like it from the outside. Or inside out, I should say. We get along remarkably well. We are neighbors. We are people who help one another out. We take pride in our community. We are grateful for what we do have. Now, this is an article I'm reading, so I'm not up there. We are far from perfect, but we work out our many differences in civilized ways. Solutions are our goals, not cronyism, narcissist, victimhood, and the blaming of others. One attitude we don't have here is the soul-killing belief that somebody owes us something, which, of course, is a recipe for discontent. Because if you're not getting what's owed to you, how can you be anything but angry? Democrats and their never-ending grievance campaign, their never-ending propaganda that government largest is the answer. Their never-ending caves to corrupt unions, their never-ending warehousing of innocent children in failed public school, that's a Democrat problem, not America's problem. I might believe Baltimore was an American problem if the city was interested in a new idea and a new direction under new leaders. But we all know that it will never happen. After Democrat policies resulted in despair and anarchy, Democrats always demand more of the same, only bigger. And the media goes right along with it. And things only get worse. I wish all you luck in the world, Baltimore. I truly wish you had the courage to change. If you ever do, send up a flare. Until then, there is nothing anyone can do for you. You are the victims of your own choice. You are the victims, and no one can make choices for you but you. As far as the good people of Baltimore trapped in the troubled voting of your fellow citizens, I suggest you buy more guns until you can move to a city not run by those who see rotting as the part of the master plan. And that whole article also is what scares me about what's going on in the state of Florida. State of Florida, pretty conservative, a lot of freedoms. Now we got a lot of people in the Northeast corridor, in the tri-state area. They got tired of the high taxes. They got tired of the costly living. They got tired of the Democrat way of life. So they moved down here to Florida, where it was a cheaper living, more freedoms. And what do these people do? They are voting the same friggin' idiots, the Democrats, that ruined the North. Now they're going to have them ruin Florida. You're voting the same issues, the same problems that you did up there, that you wanted to get away from, that I wanted to get away from, my wife wanted to get away from. And now it's happening down here. Why? Because people keep voting the same moron Democrats into office. So down here in Florida, I get to see what happened up in the Northeast corridor. The slow, agonizing death of a state. As it gets dragged down by the Democrat agenda. It just, and this one pisses me off. So they passed the defense bill, and it goes to Obama's desk. And not only is this egomaniac piece of shit going to veto the defense bill, he's having a photo op so he can brag about it. Yes, he's doing a photo op on Thursday to brag about him vetoing the defense bill. Obama plans to hold a photo op in the Oval Office when he uses his veto pen on the National Defense Authorization Act according to his public schedule. Which, you know what, good. Put it out there. Have pictures. Have proof that you are obstructing. That you are the one that has been causing the jam up for the last 6.5 years. Show it. Prove it now. We'll have pictures of you vetoing a National Defense Authorization Act. The decision amounts to a public rebuke of congressional Republicans who warned Obama not to veto the measure as part of a showdown over government spending. Obama has threatened to veto the bill, which typically receives bipartisan support primarily because it puts $38 million into a war fund not subject to budget caps. Now, what really makes me sick, is the Senate voted 70-27 to pass this bill, which that's more than enough to override his veto. But Democratic leaders have said, don't worry, no. They won't defy their president. They won't defy the party. So even though they approved of the bill, they will back down on Obama. Because they do not have balls to stand up and say, no, this is what the American people want. This is what we were sent here to do, not to appease you. They're in the same party, but doesn't mean they have to get along. It's disgusting that he's holding a photo op, but at the same time, go ahead, put proof out there. So it looks like Paul Ryan, is to become the next speaker, and I am not happy about that. I am not happy at all, because this guy is a sellout. And one of the things, he didn't want to work weekends. He only wanted to work 4 days a week, because he has a family. Well, you know what? If you don't have time to be the senator, you don't have time, and you want to spend time with your family, then resign your position as a senator. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Resign your position in the House. Go back home. Because not only does the job being a House representative means you need to work whenever it's needed. Taking the position of the speaker, you need to be there when they need you. So if you can't put the time in, step down, step aside. And he is sold out. He has sold out so bad. He is going to be Biner 2.0. And it scares me because he's got backing from Democrats. Democrats are approving of his being elected as speaker. That scares me. Harry Reid is looking forward to it. He approves of it. That scares me. That scares me very bad. Sorry, I keep looking over at the screen. Representative Jim Jordan is going after Hillary. That woman just... I don't think she knows what the truth is. She really doesn't. Let's see. John Voight, progressive is a very devious term created as a substitute for communist. John Voight has had one of the longest, most impressive careers in Hollywood history, from the title roles in 1969 Oscar winner Midnight Cowboy to his current role on the hit series Ray Donovan. But Voight's success in the famous liberal entertainment arena may be even more surprising given his political leaning. He's a staunch conservative and proud of it. Have you even noticed there's more and more coming out of the woodwork? They're coming out of the closet and admitting, yes, I'm a conservative. There's more there, but they were quiet for so long that I was wondering if any of those had a brain. There are a lot of conservatives in Hollywood, and they are not very welcome. He told the December issue of Cigar Aficionado. It's a big surprise that we have come to this juncture where people with patriotic thoughts could not find a home in Hollywood. You know what? Not just Hollywood. All across this country anymore. If you are patriotic, it is looked down upon. Vault said, left's current embrace of the term progressive smacks of something else. I think the word progressive is a very devious term. It was created as a substitute for communist. What they propose is the reverse of progress. It's some that does taste of communism and Karl Marx philosophy. Well, I mean, I'd agree that the communist part, I think it's more socialists. And they come up with the cute little words of progressive socialism or democratic socialism. But they're trying to push it onto a national level, which would make it national socialism at that point. And we all know what national socialism stands for. For those that don't, look it up. It has a nice little abbreviation that was used. And, sorry, jumping around. What time is it? Hey, all right, listen, it's that evil time again. Remember, every Monday through Friday, noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on shrmedia.com and punditpress.com. That's right, the Pundit Press that had 750,000 listeners in the month of October. You can listen to none other than the Reaver of Common Sense with the host, Jersey Joe. And every Wednesday night, Reaver After Dark, hosted by me, Jersey Joe. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network. In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Kafka was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people are misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation looking for direction needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, Pundit Press Radio, and YouTube through the SHR Media page for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because the truth is not always pleasant.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. So, I don't know why that's... All right, last segment. I've been on and off listening to this House Benghazi committee with Hillary there, and it's just like, I'm surprised no one's drowning in the amount of bullshit that's being fed out of that woman. So I found this article on CNSnews.com. What happens if America follows Europe's failed immigration policy? The Western world is in a turmoil due to Middle East wars. Millions of citizens of various Middle Eastern nations are being displaced and are fleeing the region for the possibility of a better life. Yeah. These folks are risking life and limb by walking, boating, biking, and driving thousands of miles in order to get somewhere they think will allow them a better and safer life. Now, I want people to understand where these people are going and where they are not going. Notice these refugees are not heading to other nations with similar religious beliefs such as Pakistan. They are not heading to nations that are openly hostile to their religious beliefs such as India and China. They are heading to nations that seem to want them to come in, such as Germany, France, United Kingdoms, and the U.S. But are they really welcome? The governments of these and other Western nations seem to make one believe that their citizens are welcoming these refugees with open arms. Recent protests in the United Kingdom, Sweden, Germany, Spain, Hungary, Serbia, and other places show that the citizens of these nations have had enough of being invaded by a people who have nothing in common with the native population. They are sick and tired of being targets of terrorism in their own cities and town. They are tired of their religions and their laws being attacked by a group of people, some of whom are bent on total world domination. They are tired of supporting these people as they flood their borders, and they are sick and tired of allowing young men of military fighting age being given free rein on their local street. Let's face it, if you are young, healthy, and able, why is it you are not willing to fight for your own way of life and your own version of freedom? The citizens of Western nations understand that some of these men are not refugees, but in fact, many may be insurgents sent by terrorist groups with one thing on their mind, and that is the death and destruction of Western nations and a complete takeover of their government, laws, and religion. This is something that these citizens have come to realize, yet their own government do not care to listen to their people they say they represent. The United States is no different than the European nation because our government officials continue to accept these refugees from the Middle East despite the outcry from the people. Instead, the elected officials of the United States will call the American people racist and bigots for daring to object to their very notion of allowing these so-called refugees into our nation. Sorry, got sidetracked. However, we have seen an increase in terrorist activities within our nation. But some, especially the left, only wish to blame those on the right because we want to cling to our Bibles and our guns. Frankly, it is the Bibles and guns that will be called upon to save this nation and indeed the entire Western world. Make no mistake, the citizens of Europe realize they are in big trouble. But in many of those nations, the citizens are either banned from owning a firearm or severely restricted. In other words, the people of Europe, because of their government that they elected, have left themselves defenseless, helpless to the onslaught. Here in the United States, we have a call from the left to make us equally defenseless and helpless. But the American people realize that this plan is a disaster in the making. Yet it seems we are still continue to vote for these idiots to represent us. Make no mistake about it. If we keep electing the kind of people who act more and more like anti-American activists than pro-American defenders, we also shall end up defenseless and helpless, and more Americans will die on our street. Now I ask you, is that the society you want? Do you want to be like Europe, or do you wish to remain free, safe, and exceptional? That's actually from a letter from Ron Eccles, who has a show on shrmedia.com. So, it's actually a damn good article. I didn't even know it was his until I got to the end. CNN caught in blatant lie about Trump and guns. Holy snikes. Oh my God. CNN lied? Never. Hell no. They would never lie. They are so upright, so honest. I can't even think of a bullshit line good enough. Regular followers of this site likely saw our previous report about President Obama's plan to use executive action to expand gun control in the wake of the college out west shooting earlier this month. The White House confirmed this news on October 5th, and the Washington Post further detailed the president's plans a few days later, as we reported here. So it is curious that just yesterday, in an attempt to discredit GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump, CNN alleges Obama has not announced any plans to sign an executive order that would take guns away or further restrict access to guns. As Brett Baer reports, for the last 2 days, CNN has been lying about Donald Trump in order to put itself in a favorite gear. The trifecta gear that allows the left-wing network to, all at once, push gun control, protect Obama, and attack a high-profile Republican as dishonest, in this case, frontrunner Donald Trump. Very quickly, here's the backstory. During a campaign rally in South Carolina Monday night, Trump told the crowd, "You know, the president is thinking about signing an executive order where he wants to take your guns away. You hear about this? Not going to happen. That won't happen. But that's a tough one. I think a tough one for him to do," Trump told the crowd. "There's plenty of executive orders being signed, you know that. And we can't let that go on." Tuesday morning on CNN's New Day, Trump was interviewed over the phone, and left-wing co-anchor Camerati pretty much called him a liar. Even though he stood by his statement, the network claimed in a headline that Trump had backed away from the statement. Here's what Trump actually said. No, I've heard that he wants to, and I heard it, I think, on your network. Somebody said that there was what he's thinking about. I didn't say that he's signing it. I said I think that would be a tough one to sign, actually," Trump said. "I would say it would be impossible. But nevertheless, he was thinking about it, and I've heard it from numerous networks, and I've read it in the papers. You know, my source is the papers, so you know there are pretty good sources." In that same piece, CNN then reported a blatant lie. Obama has not announced any plans to sign executive orders that would take guns away or further restrict access to guns. He has, however, called for Congress to pass legislation that would establish universal background checks and implement laws aimed at minimizing the number of mass shootings in the country. Tuesday night, Anderson Cooper was spreading the same lies. This is what CNN does. Relentlessly pushes a dishonest narrative through the day, every hour on the hour. The fact that after the Oregon school shooting, no less than the Washington Post announced that Obama is indeed seriously considering circumventing Congress with his executive authority and imposing new background check requirements for buyers who purchase weapons of high-volume gun dealers. Under the proposed rule change, dealers who exceed a certain number of sales each year would be required to obtain a license from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosive and perform background checks on potential buyers. This was merely 12 days ago. CNN knows this. CNN also knows that those actions would be, of course, restrictive access to guns, primarily through added federal government regulation against private sellers. Everything Obama does regarding guns is about restricting access to guns in pursuit of an overall goal, which is confiscation. This is not some political smear against Obama. The left-wing Guardian has reported this fact. Obama makes no secret of his desire to confiscate guns, but in order to protect him and attack Trump, CNN does. Democrat presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton has expressed several times that we need to be like Australia, which is a mandated gun turn-in buyback program. It is a banning of guns. Without saying, I meant to ban guns. But, of course, the left keep ignoring it. All right. Remember, every Monday through Friday, noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on shrmedia.com and punditpress.com, you can listen to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by me, Jersey Joe. Also, go to reaverofcommonsense.com and click like on the left-hand side and follow me on Facebook. Wednesday night, Reaver After Dark. Every Wednesday on shrmedia.com, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a lot to say in one breath, or try to. All right, I will catch everybody tomorrow. Have a good day.